has set an ambitious 7.5 gigawatt offshore wind target to be achieved by 2035 and is the only state in the country to establish a solicitation schedule providing the needed regulatory and market certainty for the offshore wind industry to advance on an accelerated basis. Governor Murphy entered into an agreement with New York and BOEM for the sale of the New York Bight lease area, which will generate approximately 11 gigawatts of clean energy, bringing enough power for more than 4 million homes in the Northeast. New Jersey, through its Board of Public Utilities, has issued 2 offshore wind solicitations and awarded contracts totaling approximately 3.8 gigawatts. And recently, New Jersey announced that it will conduct its 3rd solicitation in January of 2023 that will include an innovative new approach to providing a pathway for offshore wind interconnections, again, leading the nation. With the creation of the New Jersey Windport, the nation's first purpose-built facility of its kind, Governor Murphy has demonstrated that he understands that ports and infrastructure are central to the development of our industry and the creation of a local supply chain that will create thousands of good-paying local jobs. Governor Murphy's leadership is establishing a new industry in New Jersey that is vital to decarbonizing our economy, building a local workforce, and allowing the U.S. to achieve energy independence. As one of the world's leading renewable energy companies and a top offshore wind player with more than 1,200 offshore wind turbines spinning globally, RWE applauds these moves, and we hope other states will follow suit to establish markets for offshore wind that ensures the benefits of the technology and the energy transition are captured in a just and equitable manner. While most of our turbines at RWE are spinning in Europe, thanks to Governor Murphy's leadership in creating one of the most mature and investable markets here in the U.S., RWE just won the largest lease in the New York Bight auction this past February. We plan to develop over 3 gigawatts of capacity off the shores of New Jersey, bringing enough power for 1.1 million homes. We believe offshore wind brings value both to the states and to the communities where the projects are located, not just the direct benefits of the project investment, but in providing good local jobs, local content for the supply chain, and the associated knock-on effects from improving resiliency for all communities throughout the state of New Jersey. Governor Murphy, we look forward to working with you and all your stakeholders and partners to invest in offshore wind in New Jersey, which means investing in New Jersey. With that, please join me in welcoming the 56th Governor of the great state of New Jersey, the Honorable Phil Murphy.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Atlantic City, New Jersey. I want to begin by expressing my appreciation to the Business Network of Offshore Wind for organizing this conference and for also once again asking me to be a part of it. I want to thank Liz Burdock, the President and CEO, and all of her colleagues. The last time I was with you in New York City in 2019, I commented that given this is an offshore wind energy conference, perhaps we could get together somewhere where we could feel both the sand under our feet and the ocean wind in our faces. So first and foremost, thank you for taking that suggestion to heart. I would not miss this for anything. In fact, I cut my economic mission to Ireland short by a day so I could make it here in time. And if you're a Murphy and you're cutting Ireland by a day, you know I'm taking this seriously. My thanks as well to Sam Eaton for that terrific introduction, and through you, Sam, to the entire team at RWE Renewables. Thank you for not only recognizing but investing in the tremendous potential that exists just a few miles to our east in the waters off New Jersey. I cannot wait for our efforts with all the auction winners going forward. And to all of you who have come to spend a couple of days here in Atlantic City, I thank you as well for your attendance. As I mentioned, it's been several years since we had the ability to all be together. And the last time we were, I outlined our vision for making New Jersey not just the offshore wind capital of the East Coast, but among the key global players in the industry. And I'm here today to say that that vision is coming to life. In Ireland, by the way, offshore wind was a main discussion point in several meetings, so our emergence in this sector is not going unnoticed. If you could, allow me to begin with a bit of a status report on our progress. Even while we fought the pandemic, we continue to work on making this vision a reality. And today I am proud of where we stand in this process. So going back 3 years ago, in April of 2019, New Jersey had a goal of putting 3,500 megawatts of offshore wind-generated electricity online by 2030. 2 months later, we announced the awarding of our first solicitation, and that was for 1,100 megawatts to Ocean Wind, a project led by Ørsted and New Jersey's own Public Service Enterprise Group. Then in November of 2019, I was proud to stand alongside my dear friend, former Vice President Al Gore, who I will have the great honor of being with again this weekend, back then at the Liberty Science Center in Jersey City, as we more than doubled our offshore goal to 7,500 megawatts. And following that announcement, the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities followed through with its second solicitation for the rights to develop our offshore projects. And last June, it made 2 awards for a 1,500 megawatt project planned by EDF and Shell's Atlantic Shores Offshore Wind, and 1,150 megawatts for Ørsted's Ocean Wind 2. So in a 2-year span and through just 2 of the first 3 planned solicitations, we are halfway to our goal of 7,500 megawatts. And moreover, as Sam alluded to, the Board of Public Utilities is on schedule to release its 3rd offshore solicitation in a number of months. And the last time we met, I also noted that I didn't want New Jersey to just be a place that leads in offshore wind energy generation, but to also be a hub of industry-wide innovation and manufacturing. And we are well on our way toward achieving this end as well. About an hour to our west, plus or minus a few minutes, along the Delaware Bay in Salem County, work is underway in building the New Jersey Wind Port. As Sam mentioned, the first purpose-built offshore wind marshaling port in the entire United States. When it gets to full scale, the New Jersey Wind Port is anticipated to create up to 1,500 jobs and will contribute more than $500 million each year to New Jersey's economy. And by the way, that is in a region of our state which greatly needs this economic boost. A few moments ago, just backstage here, just before I stepped out, I was proud to look on as Ørsted, led by its outstanding leader Dave Hardy, and the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, led again greatly by Tim Sullivan, formalized the agreement through which Ørsted became the first tenant at this facility and will use the New Jersey Wind Port for its Ocean Wind 1 project, which it is delivering, as I mentioned, with our friends at PSE&G. The Ocean Wind team is set to begin operations at the wind port in early 2024, and in doing so, we'll be creating over 200 pre-assembly, load-out, and stevedoring jobs, along with hundreds more indirect jobs. And overwhelmingly, we're a quintessential and proud union state. Overwhelmingly, all these jobs I'm talking about are organized labor jobs. Yeah. A few more miles up the coast, just above where the Delaware Bay becomes the Delaware River, the Paulsboro Marine Terminal is being recreated into the site of a state-of-the-art factory where components, not just for the offshore wind farms to come off of our own coast, but for the offshore wind industry nationwide, will be manufactured. The project is being led by EEW. It represents the largest investment in offshore wind manufacturing in the United States to date. And I know there are many more opportunities to come, including ongoing negotiations between offshore developers and major component manufacturers to bring them to New Jersey. And our administration stands at the ready to help in any way possible. So all in all, this is a huge moment. This truly is a vision turning into reality. This is, if you will, New Jersey's "if you build it, they will come" moment. But even with this progress, we're still not done. We know that the industry is going to need a highly trained workforce, After all, windmills don't just magically appear. They need women and men who know how they go together and work to put them together and to make them work. We're building this workforce for you all right here in New Jersey as well, through a collaboration among the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, the state departments of both labor and education, our partners in organized labor, and our higher education community, specifically, by the way, in that respect, our terrific county colleges. The New Jersey Wind Institute is beginning its efforts at creating this specialized workforce, a workforce that is not just highly trained, but also tremendously diverse. After all, our goal isn't just to generate electricity, which obviously it is, it's also to generate broad-based economic opportunity. It's about creating both good-paying jobs and the workforce for those jobs. And this is how we make New Jersey an epicenter for the entire offshore industry. This is, frankly, how we help you succeed in your goals as well. Whether you're a partner in a project off our coast or some other state's coast, we're going to make sure every project bears the imprint of New Jersey. I must also note, and again, Sam alluded to this, the recent and successful nearly $4.4 billion auction of offshore wind development rights in the New York Bight. And again, I congratulate Sam and RWE and all of the winners. And I'm hopeful, too, by the way, that by working with our federal partners, we will ensure that some part of those auction proceeds return to our state so we can reinvest in the things that matter to our residents and to all of you. By the way, the name New York Bight is a bit misleading. The majority of these waters are, in fact, off the Jersey shore. So suffice it to say, with these additional parcels, we know we have the potential to fully meet our offshore energy generation goals. And in doing so, we can move our global energy future out from under long-term uncertainty and energy market shocks, such as those caused by Russia's awful war against Ukraine. The crisis in Ukraine has highlighted our needs for both greater interdependence and independence. We usually think of those as opposites, but quite simply, we make each other stronger by working together. And few sectors have the ability to prove this point more than the energy sector. By the way, New Jersey is one of the most, if not the most, diverse American state, and we wear that as a badge of honor, including a very substantial, significant, and heroic Ukrainian community. When we work together to achieve energy independence by tapping into the resources which are free to us all, such as wind, and eliminating the need to use resources controlled by only a few, such as fossil fuels, we will make each other stronger. Russia's awful war has laid bare the recognition that one way we can prevent autocrats from holding the community of nations hostage is by working together to achieve energy independence and taking away the cudgel of fossil fuels they wield. I know that we all desperately want to see an end to the war in Ukraine. We want to see the rebuilding of its cities and the return of families to their homes. But I know that we also want to see an energy future where no dictator can hold the world hostage over its energy supply. And I want New Jersey to be one of the places where we make this stand in no uncertain terms. New Jersey is where we can all work together so we can each stand freely on our own. I think we are where smart politics and smart policy and even smarter businesses can all come together. And we're doing just that. And as I said, this industry is where we can prove how interdependence can lead to independence. Together, we could grow a global industry whose long-range impacts will benefit us economically, environmentally, socially, geopolitically. And together we can promote the energy independence that will not only power the world's economies, but allow us to throw off the chains that tie us to fossil fuels and the lucky few that control those resources. We know the shift away from a carbon-based energy cycle is not only in our global best interests, but also in our own self-interests. The race to exploit fossil fuel resources has made a lot of folks rather selfish. And while certainly I want to be a little selfish in making New Jersey a hub of the global offshore industry, this is far more offset by more than a little bit of selflessness, the recognition that we all do well when we all do good, that the benefits of offshore wind are well more than the sum of its parts, and that this is a 1 + 1 = 3 moment. I want to thank you all for your leadership and partnership. I want to thank you for coming to Atlantic City, and I hope I will see you again as we continue to turn our visions into reality. Thank you all very much.
You know, I think that we owe him a standing ovation for all the great work that he has done, not just in the state of New Jersey, but to lead this country in offshore wind.
Thank you.
You've done everything that we have asked you to do, so thank you, Governor
Thank you
Murphy.
all. Thank you.
So now it is my pleasure to also welcome to the stage Dan McGrail. Governor Murphy was just in Ireland. Well, Dan leads Renewable UK and that organization's efforts to build a renewable UK, and I think